So we're going to be covering some basic formatting tasks that will just make your spreadsheet a little bit easier to read. We're going to use one of the textbook publisher's files. So we're going to File and Open, and we're going to click on Browse. Now this is in the Excel Lesson 1, Chapter 1 folder. Monthly expenses is what we want, so we're going to open it. And we are going to save this under a different name. So we're going to go to File and Save As. And we're just going to put a 1 in front of monthly expense. So I'm going to use my left arrow and do a 1 dash. Now this should be in your Excel Lesson 1, Chapter 1 folder. And I've already done this once, so I have to replace. But yours should just save right in there, no problems. And one of the formatting tasks that are pretty common is widening columns. And you can see why it's common. If we look down here under expense, you can see that a lot of our text was too long and spilled over into the adjacent column. And then when we typed the numbers, our text got chopped off or truncated. So what we're going to do is widen up the column. And there's several different ways that you can do this. Probably the most popular method is called best fit. And to use the best fit method, you're going to take your mouse, move it into your column heading area, and then you'll see that between the columns is a line. You're going to put the mouse right on that line, and then you're going to double click. Okay, so you have to push the left button 2 times pretty quickly for it to work, but this is called best fit. And what it does is it looks through the column, finds the widest entry, and it makes the column wide enough to display the biggest entry. So we're going to do the same thing over here between E and F, because you can see we have the same problem. So we're going to position on that line between E and F, and then we're going to double click. Okay, so modifying the width of columns, pretty common task. Chances are you will be doing that quite often. Another thing that's pretty common is displaying a title in the middle of the data. So here we've got data in A, B, and C. And we want to take this title and put it in the middle. To do that, what we have to do is highlight A1, B1, and C1. So we're basically highlighting the cells that are the range that we want to put that text in the middle of. So with the mouse looking like a block plus sign, you left drag across. And I normally have the mouse right in the middle of the cell and left drag to highlight. And then once I've highlighted the right range, take your finger off the mouse, and then you can execute the command that basically combines the cells into one big cell, and it puts the text in the middle. And that command is called Merge and Center. It's on your home ribbon, and all you do is click right on the command. Don't click the arrow because you're going to get a menu. You want to just click right on the command and see it combines the 3 cells into one, put your text in the middle. Now, what happens if you goof? Well, you can certainly use undo, but if you have done a bunch of other things and you don't want to back out of everything, all you do is click on it and click on Merge and Center, and that unmerges. Okay, then we kind of click away, highlight the right range of cells, Merge and Center, and it combines them. And let's see. They also want us to do that same thing for the subtitle. So we're going to highlight A2 through C2. Okay, now, sometimes students do have trouble with this highlighting business. And the trouble that I normally see is they either grab the fill handle, which you know copies, So we'd have January 2018 copied across, okay? Or they accidentally get the move. Okay? And if you drag with the move, you're actually moving the contents of the cell. So when you're highlighting, you want to make sure that the block plus sign is in the center. And then left drag to highlight, release the button, and click the command merge and center. And we're also going to do it over here. So we're going to highlight E1 and F1 and click merge and center. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and save. And we're going to do a little bit of number formatting, because formatting numbers makes them much easier to read. So we're going to click B13. We're going to put in some totals. Then we're going to make the numbers a little easier to read. So we got B13. I'm going to click on auto sum. Okay, it guesses correctly, so we're going to go ahead and press enter. And then we'll go ahead and click on C13 and do auto sum again, pressing enter. There's several different numeric formats that you can choose. The default format that will put dollar signs, commas, and 2 decimal places in numbers is the accounting format. And to use that format, you have to highlight your range of cells and click on the button. Now, let's say you didn't want the 2 decimals displayed for whatever reason. You'll notice we have an increase and decrease decimal. So if we click decrease decimal twice, okay, the decimals go away. And you can really see at this point what the accounting format does, because it displays the dollar on the left and the number on the right. And there's typically a gap between them, okay, because that is how the accounting format shows the number and the dollar sign. There is a different format that you can use if you want the dollar right next to the number. And we'll be covering that in upcoming weeks. Now, for the other numbers. Let's see. I want B13 and C13 highlighted. We're going to do accounting for that as well. Okay. And we're going to get rid of the decimals. But for the numbers in between, we do not want the accounting format. So we're going to highlight the numbers in between. And what I do if I've got a large range like this is I just start in the upper left corner with the block plus sign, go across and down. Okay. And once I've got the right range highlighted, I am going to use the comma format. Now what happens if you highlighted the wrong range? Click away and try it again. Right, so once you've got the right range highlighted, click on the comma, because that will apply the comma format. And then we're going to decrease the decimal. For the percentages, okay, they're not all that user-friendly to read. So we are going to highlight them. And you probably guessed that we are going to click on the % button. And with percentages, the default is not to display decimal places. Oftentimes with percentages, people will increase the decimals because the numbers end up rounded. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you do not display decimals, it will round numbers. Okay, so at this point, what we've done is we have used the accounting format for basically the first row under budget and actual and the last row. Got rid of the decimals. Then in between, we have our comma format with no decimals. And then we highlighted the percentages and formatted them as well. So we're going to save this. And at this point, we are done with this exercise. So you can go to File and Close.